Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live coverage coming your way right now.
Good evening, everybody, or good morning to you, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you in part by TD's Tree Service. We're here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for an extra long race today, 90 minutes of multi-class action, and as always we've got the Mazda MX-5s and the Ford Mustangs out on track here today. Well, good evening, everybody. Adam Bath here with iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. And Alex, we've moved away from North America, we've hit Europe, and we couldn't have really picked a better track to start our cruise around Europe, Spa-Francorchamps.
Fantastic circuit, love this place, you know, an absolute sort of classic. Everyone's sort of loves this one. So, and what we'll do, we'll jump straight into the track guide as usual, and yeah, we'll get a little guided tour around here.
Welcome everyone to Circuit de Spa, located here in Belgium. A little bit of a foggy, misty day here as we do our track guide in the Ford Mustang FR 500. This 4.3 mile course has certainly seen its changes over the years. This track is nearly a century old, if you can believe it. It started in 1922. Most of the course was built, if not all of it, on public roads. Drivers had a very high-speed course back in the day, and the course has changed now from being over 9 miles in length at that time to 4.3 miles in length. As we approach turn 1 up here, known as La Source, you'll find that this is a very, very tight course, probably the tightest wrapping radius turn on the track. Overtaking opportunities do occur here, though, coming into 1 on those laps and trying to get a good run down this hill to turn 2, the slight right through the grandstand. This takes us to one of the most famous corners at this track, is Eau Rouge. Turns 3, 4, and 5. We come into 3 to the left, lift, come back to 4 to the right, to the floor, and back up through 5 to the left again. Very fast section. Not a lot of overtaking back there, but you'll certainly see it here. Coming around 6 back there, up the hill on Kemmel Straight. This track changes elevations from 104 meters from its lowest point to its highest point, 340 feet. Coming into 7, 8, 9, this is known as Lacombe. Right-hander 7, left-hander 8. You want to hug that inside tight so you can come back to the left to get that wide entry for 9 and get that pedal back to the floor to get down into turn 10, what I call the paper clip. Probably the most normal radius turn here at Spa. Roll that center, get that throttle back to floor as soon as you see that sight line. Back to the left for turn 11, and a very fast opportunity here for overtaking. Down the hill, heading towards 12, which is also a very fast section. 2 double lefts here we're approaching. Down into 3rd gear, hug that inside, back to the floor, back up into 4th gear. Very fast turn. 116 miles an hour around that second part of turn 12. Down into 13 and 14, known as Campus. 13 kind of wraps back a little tight here into 14. Again, want to get a good quick launch. This gets a little loose coming off of 14, heading down to 15. A little bit of a tight turn here. Got to get on the brakes a little bit more. Get back to throttle on that exit, nice and smooth. Takes you to 16. Coming off 16, drivers don't want to go too wide here, get penalized for going off track. A lot of overtaking opportunities here. Drivers will try to get sucked up in the draft. Another draft opportunity here outside of climbing that initial hill out of Eau Rouge. Up into 5th gear, drivers will lift throttle mid-turn here, get back to throttle on exit. Don't want to lose a spot as you approach the final chicane of 19 and 20. 130 miles an hour, gearing down to 40 miles an hour to hit 19 to the right, 20 to the left, lift throttle, hit that apex, and get a good quick launch to head to that finish line. This also takes you back down to where we started, the corner, turn number 1. Good old La Source. And that is your track guide at Circuit de Spa. Thank you so much for watching.
And there you are, an expert guide of how to handle this 7-kilometre, 21-corner, brutal Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And Travis Davis definitely hasn't been watching that track guide at all as he goes across the grass, and that is the end of his qualifying session. We'll get the championship standings up on screen for you now. And it is Travis Schwenke leading the way there in the overalls category. But in the GS Pro, Clint Weiger second, with Mike Dam third, Tyler Schifflett fourth, Pat Petrucci-Iannucci in fifth, Stephen Thomas sixth, Russ Ruddick seventh, Jeff Jacobs eighth, Kevin Ford ninth, and Leon Wright running at the top 10 there. In the GS Open category, we've got Brandon Whitworth leading the way there, Chad Osborne second, Mike Burgett in third, Robert Brist in fourth, with Scott Brooks fifth, Rick McClure sixth, 7th Jennifer McDonald, 18th Chad McDonald, 9th Logan Mitchell, and Aaron Grotzkoff running at the top 10. Then into the ST Pro standings, which are the Mazda MX-5s. Travis Schwenke leading the way there, Giuseppe Iannucci second, Dries Nice in third, David Payton fourth, George Fike fifth, with Christopher Hennin sixth, Scott Kennedy seventh, Rob Hartley eighth, and John Allen ninth. And in the Open category in the Mazda MX-5s, it's Tyler McFarlane leading the way there. Joint second, Edgar Sancinelli and Mike Taylor. Then Mike Key fourth, Chris Torman in fifth, Richard Losber in sixth, seventh Dan Kruger, and Matthew Velsenbach in eighth place.
Nice and close there. And worth pointing out that Aaron, he jumped cars, so he's now in the MX-5 as opposed to the Mustang.
See how we can get on in that then. We'll run you through the starting grid then. We're gridding up, we've got about a third of a lap under the safety car, and then we'll be getting the race underway. And of course we're on the endurance layout today, so the green flag will happen on the exit of La Source. Starting on pole position then, in the Ford Mustangs, it is Pasquale Iannucci, man that is currently sitting 5th in the championship. We're hoping to get a win here today. Russell Klassen starting in 2nd, Mike Dam 3rd, Clint Weigas in 4th, Brandon Whitworth 5th, Matthew Katila 6th, Travis Davis in 7th, Chad Osborne in 8th, Jeff Jacobs 9th, and Tyler Schifflett rounding out the top 10. Russell Ruddock starting in 11th, Stephen Thomas 12th, Leon Wright in 13th, Michael Burgett in 14th, 15th, Raymond Bader Jr., 16th, John Ehlers, 17th is Scott Brooks, 18th, Logan Mitchell, 19th, David Jacques, and 20th for Tori Tesla. James Gonnier starting in 21st, Chad McDonald 22nd, 23rd, Robert Brist with Ryan Tibbetts in 24th, and then into the Mazda MX-5s. Travis Schwenke on pole position there, David Payton 2nd, 3rd, Giuseppe Iannucci, 4th is Rob Hartley, 5th, Tyler McFarlane, 6th, John Allen, 7th, Richard Losbert, 8th, George Fike, 9th, Scott Kennedy, 10th, Dan Carrido, Mike Taylor 11th, 12th, Edgar Sancinelli, 13th for Chris Torman, Michael Key 14th, and Aaron Grotzkoff, as Alex was saying, in Mazda MX-5s, starting at the back, with Kevin Ford also not setting a time. Also, 90-minute race today. Once the race gets underway, we'll outline all the possible strategies. We're being told we could have as many as 3 pit stops during the race today as the cars now head onto the front straight. This is where the timing line is. But Alex, we're going to get the race underway on the exit of La Source going into Eau Rouge.
Yep, always a tricky one. People come out of that bus stop and try and launch it a little out there. We are bunched back up, but it looks like it's all good, no issues.
Mustangs will get underway before the Mazda MX-5s. Good gap between the two classes. And now it's up to Pasquale Iannucci to judge the pace through the final corner. He'll begin to accelerate, and we'll get this 90-minute race in the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series underway. Green. Green flag in the air. Round 4 is underway. Crossing into second place straight away there is Russell Klassen. Let's see where the Mazda MX-5s are as the Mustangs go through Radeon for the first time all through cleanly. And it is the Mazda MX-5 of David Payton and Travis Schwenke leading the way through the final corner. And they'll begin to accelerate now. And we will get the race underway in this class. 15 cars in the Mazda MX-5s, 25 in the Ford Mustangs. And a good jump there by Travis Schwenke. He leads away. And I tell you what, Alex Giuseppe looks like he's got the better start as well, because David Payton started second. He's already dropped down to third going into Eau Rouge.
Yep, Yeah, caught napping a little bit there. Interesting to see the fog out there as well. We don't normally see it in the sim, so just a slightly different element. It's not too bad, but has kept the track fairly cool as well. So it's going to be good for the tyres, and should the life should stay in there as well. So I think we'll open up strategy options for us. Drivers can decide when they want to pop in to the pits. If they want to do a long run, then they can do.
It looks like the race organisers have tried to make it as true to life as possible as well, Alex, because the Ardennes Forest here at Spa does throw up with unpredictable weather.
Yeah, exactly. We're used to seeing this, aren't we? So just need some random rain spells, and we'd be well away.
Yeah, the unique microclimate around this Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Pasquale Iannucci then at the front in the Ford Mustangs. He hasn't been able to do much about Russell Klassen in this opening lap, only 0.2 of a second between them as they head through one of the fastest parts of the circuit up to Blanchimont. And we were just pointing out, Alex, just a few moments ago about the strategy aspect as well. And this 90-minute race, it does throw up a complete, it just opens the strategy up completely.
Yeah, I think we could see people on very, very different strategies, where what we've seen in the previous sort of shorter races, everyone pits maybe within the sort of 3 or 4 laps, and we really could have people in completely different strategy, trying to get out of the traffic, work their way through. There's a little battle further back. I'm trying to see who that was. Side by side coming out of the bus stop, but settled back in single file.
Oh, Scott Brooks is dropping down the order. What's happened to him?
Oh, they're around at the bus stop, so quick 3-point turn and away. Not what you want to be doing on a racetrack, without getting to the conclusion of lap 1, but doesn't look like there's any damage for Scott, so be a bit frustrated on that only, I think. But he's got some time to try and make this back. Obviously, a long old race today.
There's going to be there is a big time difference between the Mustangs and the Mazda MX-5s on this circuit, and it shows because Scott Brooks, after that spin, he's still way ahead of the Mazda MX-5 class as we complete the first lap of competition. Kevin Ford versus James Gonnier going into Les Combes at the end of the straight. Those two are side by side. Gonnier looks like he's got the like Kevin Ford, sorry, has got a position. Spin for Russell Ruddock.
Yeah, Ruddock.
That's a Les Combes.
And he's got a lot of damage, so...
Oh, he tried rounding outside, and looks like there was no grip out there, and he collected Michael Burgett for good measure as well.
Yeah, he just lost the car, didn't he? Going around there, taking a bit too much speed in. Back got away. Back to the leaders in the ST class, and Iannucci having a little look. Svinky got the run.
Oh, yeah, and into Les Combes. Payton also having a little look at the inside of Iannucci. You can see Rob Hartley's also in the mix there as well. Familiar face to viewers that watch our MX-5 coverage on Sunday nights. And he's under pressure from John Allen behind, going into Rivage at the bottom of the hill. And then into the corner with no name. Tory Tesla also had a spin on this lap in the Ford Mustangs. He's dropped down just behind Scott Brooks. So drivers getting a bit surprised by the lack of grip that we've got at the moment, Alex.
Yeah, which has surprised me. I would have thought the cooler conditions out there, once perhaps the first sort of half a lap or so is done and the tyres are up to pressure and temperature, that actually there would have been an awful lot of grip out there. So yeah, very strange. Maybe it's just too cold and some of these guys are struggling, taking every car's a little different out there, and maybe it's just taking a little bit longer to get them into that sort of sweet spot.
And it's not as if the drivers have just turned up to these conditions out of the blue. They've had a 2 hours and 20-minute practice session followed by a 40-minute qualifying, and yeah, now they're in an hour and a half race as another car nearly used it for the final qualify. That was Michael Burgess again, the car that picks up that damage after the contact with Russell Ruddock in the first corner. John Ehlers and Raymond Bader are exchanging positions going into La Source. That is Ehlers up the inside, and a spin in front of them.
Who was that?
David Jacques, I think it was.
No, it was James.
Gonnier.
Yeah.
Midwestern driver losing it there, and looks like Russell Ruddock. No, Logan Mitchell will also get by him on the way down the hill, so problems there for Gonier, and Logan Mitchell also through. So another spin at the source, and yeah, we saw Mika Hakkinen have a spin there back in 1998 in the torrential conditions, and the Mustang there getting caught out.
Tory Tesla dropping down again, so definitely some issues there.
Yeah, he's had to come into the pits. I think that's as a result of the contact with the wall he has when he spun, and it is brutal if you have to visit the pits at this circuit, Alex, because not only have you got to do the Grand Prix pit lane, but you've got to do the endurance pit lane as well.
Ah, nightmare. Yeah, it's close to a 60-second sort of pit lane visit, and plus your stop time, you know, so crazy.
Battle for the lead in the overall category, the GS Pro is still in full effect. Pasquale Iannucci hasn't done anything really to escape from Russell Klassen. New Yorker versus California, East Coast versus West Coast, and then you've got the Canadian of Mike Dam in third. And all very similar lap times, 2:38s they're doing in the race at the moment. Qualifying earlier, they were doing 2:38s as well, so they're not lapping too far off the times they were doing there. The Mazda MX-5s, incidentally, are doing 2:47s, 2:48, so a good 10-second time difference around this circuit. As the lead trio go into Blanchimont, the last Mazda MX-5 is just going through Les Combes, so they're picking up time on these guys, and yeah, this lead trio, Alex, they seem to be inseparable at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely glued together, and Clint Viger's behind. He's, you know, right in there as well. So's Brandon Whitworth, Travis Davis, so Tyler Schiffler as well. So they're all there. The little gap really starts at Stephen Thomas. So there's about 2.5 seconds gap there. So that's sort of 9th place down. So, but the rest of these guys pretty glued to each other. Fair bit of slipstream in the Mustang. It's worth to point out, and. You know, Spa is a track that's kind of made for slipstreaming, really. You know, just massive, long straights in between sort of, you know, pretty reasonable sort of medium speed corners. So while the car's going to be pushy and perhaps a little bit horrible through those corners, both cars to a degree, actually the slipstream that you're going to get makes up for sort of dirty air and things like that you'll get. Right, here we go though. Russell round the outside, no, just didn't quite get enough of a run. Iannucci holds on. Mike Dam had a little look as well, but nothing changed.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a look there, didn't he? Shaping him up, and yeah, I've really got to say that the slipstream definitely seems to be playing its part here in this race today. And it's definitely the reason why we're still getting all these packs. The slipstream definitely playing its part. David Jacques looked like he was coming down the order just a little bit ago. Ryan Tibbetts has just got past him into Les Combes. So we are seeing some overtakes in that part of the course. Probably one of the main overtaking spots on the circuit, Alex. It's definitely the biggest slipstreaming part.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Just having a look at Ty McFarlane having a little run on Scott Kennedy. These guys are very, very close. That's a potential move. Kennedy closing in on John Allen as well. So
and the lead in the Mazda MX-5s as well.
Well, these guys are going to be glued together for a fair amount of this race. Look at that pack. Look how close it is. That's great.
And Peyton might go up the inside into Les Combes. Yeah, he's got it. And he's got past Iannucci. And we've had a change for the lead in the overall category. Russell Klassen's through. No, he isn't. He's got the position back. So what?
I was just looking at the timing screen. I was like, what?
No,
are you watching a different race there, Adam?
There you go. I got overexcited for a brief moment, which isn't what you would expect at 2:16 a.m. In the UK. But yeah, the battle continues in the Mazda MX-5s. Schwenke leading, but Peyton up into second, and you can just see that Schwenke over this last third of a lap has just put a little bit of a gap. But I think, Alex, even with that gap that Schwenke's got through the second half of the lap and probably down the Kemmel Straight, he'll probably just get eaten up again.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I mean, the MX-5, much like the Mustang, has quite a lot of draft, so they'll be able to utilise that, especially coming down out through the S's once they exit Paul Frere, that back straight towards Blanchimont. That's really where they're going to sort of stuck straight up to the rear again. So 7/10 of a second. Yeah, not enough to break away. So, but it just goes to show a little bit of battling behind. You know, if they just go at it for a few more corners, then Travis Schwenke could, well, you know, just try and break this draft.
Yeah, the gap between Schwenke and Payton at this very moment is 4/10 of a second, as Iannucci tries to get the second place back going through Blanchimont. Might fancy his chances going into the bus stop chicane here. Definitely one of the key overtaking spots on the circuit, along with Les Com. See, these Mazda MX-5s have got the fog lights, and there you go. Schwenke looked like he had it under control, and Payton had a little bit of a look for the Mazda MX-5 leads going into the bus stop chicane. Schwenke going out wide on the exit. You can see sliding his car through the second part of the bus stop chicane. With a blinking of an eye, David Payton, who looked like he was about to lose the position to Giuseppe Iannucci, is now right back harassing the rear end of that Mazda MX-5 with Travis Schwenke.
Yeah, good battles out here right now. I think this one's going to stay with us for most of the race. Oh, it's a thought actually, and I know it seems a bit early to start talking about strategy, but when you've got a splash and dash kind of thing at the end, you know, there's not. This is what we're expecting. This is what we've been informed that, you know, the guys are probably going to have a much shorter stop as they go side by side down Kemmel Straight. Payton got much better run here. Schwenke, Iannucci, they're going to be 3 wide going into Lacombe.
Looks like Iannucci might, Schwenke might be the big loser here, and he is, and Iannucci might be the big winner. Third to first in the space of a straight. Didn't expect the slipstream to be that effective, Alex, and now Schwenke definitely looks the vulnerable one as Rob Hartley now closes in.
Yeah, perfect. Crazy. And that's what we want. That's what's going to keep this pack completely together as well. So Richard Losper and George Veit behind, they're just dropping off a tiny little bit. So let's hope they can get pulled back into this one as well, because we want this little pack to stay together for as long as possible. Of course, once the Mustangs get to them, that'll start to break them apart a little bit.
Tell you what, it looks extremely fun to drive in these Mazda MX-5s around this Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Spa, a favourite of all the Formula 1 drivers, Alex, and it must be high up there on your all-time favourite tracks.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's one of the best tracks to drive. I really enjoy sort of high-speed circuits, and this fits the bill perfectly. The 2 corners I dislike are the slow ones.
Definitely on the bucket list for me to go to a Belgian Grand Prix or any form of motor race at Spa in the future. Maybe
Mike Dam for second place. Oh, he just pokes his nose out, but doesn't do anything with that. But yeah, I was talking just a lap ago actually. You know, with this being sort of endurance race and the amount of pit stops that we're expecting here, and fuel's going to make a big issue. These cars, obviously, you know, they do take a while to fill up. They're not like, you know, like an F1 car where you just contact for the lead. Russell just getting into Iannucci. And then into Mike Dam. Dam gets run out wide, and that's Clint Vigas that got the best of the run. So not sure what's going on with Russell out there right now. Just making a couple of little mistakes and trying to hold on to that second place. A bit aggressive.
That is part of this. Yeah.
Everyone survives.
Oh, he's having a little. He's definitely wanting to get the positions back. Is Mike Dam and Russell Klassen. But yeah, Clint Vigas, we spoke about him on lap 1, well, Alex did, and said he could be the opportunist here, and he is, and he's up into second place now as Clint Vigas. So yeah, we've had Logan Mitchell into the pits. Looks like he's had a crash actually, because his pit lane time and pit stop time are both exactly the same. So he's probably met a sorry end at some point on the circuit. But yeah, here we go in the Mustangs then. Brandon Whitworth versus Travis Davis side by side into Blanchimont.
He's definitely got damage on the left side as well. Car slower, physically in a straight line. You can see it, he's really struggling. Everyone's streaming past him, so I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't pit in this lap. We've gone quite a way, so 15 minutes into this race. So I think, you know, he probably could come in at this point. So what he will do is he'll lose the pack if he does go in. Doesn't, stays out. But again, this alludes to my point that I'm trying to make. But is it worth just sort of sticking behind? Russell looked like he was quite comfortable in second place for quite a period there. Is it worth just sticking in second place over this first stint to try and eke out maybe another lap of fuel or 2 laps of fuel? And what that will give you is right at the end of the race, of course, it's it's 2 laps less that you have to put into that tank, and the opportunity to jump drivers, then get out of the slipstream and everything. If you can just stay in that draft. So.
Yeah, because I was just as you, Alex. I was thinking it would be a good opportunity for come into the pits at that moment, as Travis Davis versus Brandon Whitworth down the Kemmel Straight. But then he's probably thinking as well that he wants to eke out the field as much as he can. So probably why he's extending this run by just a few extra laps. We are 17 minutes into the race. You are watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you in part by TD's Tree Service and Apex Racing TV. Adam Bath and Alex Simpson with you here tonight. And close battles in both classes for the lead. Iannucci and Payton separated by less than a tenth of a second. Alex going down the straight towards the bus stop chicane. And here comes Rob Hartley up the inside of Travis Schwenke, possibly into the bus stop. Lead change, Iannucci past Payton. Payton's going to get back up the inside, and you can see Iannucci wrestling with the car on the exit of the bus stop chicane. And this looks like Schwenke might have his opportunity to take one of those positions back up the inside into La Source.
Yeah, heavy on the braking, plenty of room given there, a lot of fair driving. Could have squeezed, Payton could have squeezed him just a little bit there, but decided not to do it. And I think that's the right call at this stage of the race. No need to go aggressive, especially when you know that the driver's just going to slipstream back past you on the Kemmel Straight.
This is probably me just being really thick. What are those glowing lights on the sides of the Mazda MX-5s? Are they the fog lights?
Side.
The two orange strips on the left and the right. As here comes the lead again. Or are they just the indicators glowing?
Glowing.
Travis Schwenke going around the outside. And up the inside as well goes David Payton. Don't mind me, Alex.
Sorry, I see it now. Yeah, I just think I'm not even sure. They just look like reflectors to me, but I didn't even notice them until you said about it. So
there you go.
Probably just little side lights or something like that. So.
Gonna say yeah, because we'll leave that. The bizarre conversation of the day right there. Kevin Ford's coming into the pits, which could be as the first of the scheduled stops today. He's had a good race so far. Started at the back, and is up at 10 positions, and he's going to make the super long trip through the pit lane. And Kevin Ford, started 40th. Of course, that's sort of a lie because he started at the rear end of the Mustangs. But he's the first to come in. You don't want to crash into that pit wall on the inside. We've seen plenty of guys do that in the past.
Oh, it's the worst as well. It's so tight through there, so easy to do. Pintweiger struggling to close back in on Pascal Iannucci right now. So 1.3 seconds. I have to feel like Klaus has probably got the best, seemed to be able to hold with him a lot easier, so made that mistake, and that's really what split this pack up a little bit at the front. So we need a few good laps from Vigus. Oh, there's a spin somewhere in one of the MX-5s. It's Aaron, and of course we've got the traffic coming through. Oh, be patient, don't reverse back onto the road. Oh, you got the whole crew coming through. You're gonna have to. Oh. Well, yep, just be patient.
Was that the Mustangs that were coming through, Alex?
Yeah, all the Mustangs coming through.
Well, Grotzkopf, as you were saying, Alex, has he moved over from the Mustangs to the MX-5s for this race?
Oh, turn it around. Oh, God. Sorry, I shouldn't focus on this.
3-point turn in the middle of Puon.
Yeah,
for Grotzkopf, and he's done the sensible thing.
Yeah, absolutely. He would have had some time. I think he just needed a couple more cars to go through, and he would have been okay. He'd have had a reasonable gap.
I don't know how big the turning circle is on these Mazda MX-5s, but he could have possibly just try and move the car forward.
Or drop the clutch and spin that around. You know, it would have. You can get it to donut.
Yeah, reverse probably not the best port of call in one of the fastest parts of the circuit.
That was the trouble. Anywhere else, it'd probably been all right. To be fair.
All right then, on to lap 9 of the race. Just under an hour and 9. So helped really by a safety car. So the drivers at the moment, they don't have that to help them in this race.
Yeah, of course, that made a huge difference, didn't it? And we had a lot of separate pits with people trying to work strategies out and things like that. So when to come in, try and leave it as late as possible. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that at all. So it was a pretty big crash that we had there. And if we have anything sort of in and around or sort of down Kemmel, maybe that might cause a safety car. I'm not sure.
Well, that Grotzkopf moment, if there'd been a crash there, then we definitely would have had a safety car in our hands as Vigus continues to push Klassen. And we'll check back in on the Mazda MX-5s quickly. 0.2 of a second between Travis Fenke and David Payton. Those guys just on their way to Blanchimont, and this could be another opportunity for David Payton. Looking to the outside going into Blanchimont, trying to do a Max Verstappen on it possibly. Round the outside he goes. Oh, he loses the car. And that's to go onto the AstroTurf on the exit. Nearly does a Kimi Raikkonen on it and comes back across the track, and that allows Iannucci around the outside. Is Payton going to go back up the inside? He just isn't enough alongside, and that allows Rob Hartley and Tyler McFarlane to have a battle. McFarlane up the inside on the exit of the bus stop chicane, and Hartley could be about to lose out another position because Scott Kennedy's got a good run on the exit of the chicane. 3 wide down the front straight.
Yep, good little battle in the ST class, and I think, like I say, while they're all still nicely tucked up in the slipstream, no harm, no foul on that one. Although, Hartley's now 1.6 seconds behind, Kennedy now, behind David Payton. So, that little battle there, that 3 wide, that can almost lose you the draft, and pretty important that you don't, because those guys are going to scamper away at the front now.
Yeah, that definitely looks like it. That gap is quite big now as the battle for the lead goes on in the Mazda MX-5s. Iannucci back to the lead. Fenke will get in the slipstream. Payton will get in the slipstream as well. Fenke has a little look at the inside, but Iannucci very good on the brakes. And he takes the lead. And at the moment, Iannucci's both leading both classes as Clint Vigus, our man from second place, Alexei, comes into the pits from the Mustangs.
Yep. So pretty early stop then for Clint. This is what we expected. We expected to be a fair range of pit stops out there as well. So lots of different strategies that the guys can do. Yeah, there's definitely a separation now. The top 3 have definitely broke away. That tiny little bit of battling has just instantaneously lost that sort of chasing pack, the tail of the leaders. So what they really need now is that they need these front 3 to battle this lap, even if it's just sort of going in through Blanchimont down into the bus stop, all the way up and towards Kemmel Straight and Lacombe. Otherwise, I think they are going to lose contact a little bit now.
Yeah, it's definitely that part of the circuit where the gap's going to come down, especially in the bus stop chicane, because it is definitely the slowest part of the circuit. And then if you're continuing to run 3 wide for Eau Rouge, Kemmel and Les Combes, then you're definitely going to lose time there. Dam and Jacobs will also win in that pit stop. From the times we've seen so far, it is about a 90-second pit lane time make that 80 seconds in the Mustangs. Clint Vigus picking up 17 seconds worth of fuel, and he's on his way as here come the Mazda MX-5s again into the bus stop chicane. We go. And we haven't had any pit stops yet in the Mazda MX-5s. They'll probably pit slightly later. Hard on the brakes they go into the bus stop chicane. And again, Iannucci holding on for now. And
worth
you can
pointing out that the fuel has been restricted in the MX-5s tonight as well. So there's still a strategy element, and we're not going to just see a simple one stop or anything like that from them. They are going to be in a few times.
I did have a sheet somewhere saying what percentages the fuels were restricted to, but yeah, And you can see Rob Hartley's closed in a little bit, Alex. He's probably closed in enough that he can pick up the slightest bit of slipstream. He's dumped really the likes of Kennedy and McFarlane, and he's racing after the top 3 again now.
Yeah, good lap from him, and you can see he's definitely in that draft now. So 0.8 of a second, and the speed quick enough. As the front 3 go 3 wide, this is what he wanted. He'll be instantly back on the tail, and even the guys 1.8 seconds back, they could gain a little bit here, depending if we have some 2 wide, which we do.
Oh, Peyton back up the inside of Schwenke. I can also tell you that the race leader and the Mustang's in. Pasquale Iannucci into the pits along with Tyler Shiflett and Leon Rice. But this is very close and close to a quarter panel. And Travis Schwenke doesn't have the slightest bit of worry in closing the door on David Peyton. He is making sure that he holds on to this lead for now anyway. And yeah, Rob Hartley right on the back of these guys now. So it is a lead quartet of Schwenke, Peyton, Giuseppe Iannucci and Rob Hartley for the lead in the Mazda MX-5s.
Kennedy only 1 second behind now as well, so definitely back in that slipstream. So yeah, needs to use that over the next few corners and straights. Oh, there's a contact behind actually. Those guys desperately trying to catch back up. Kennedy around, well, not around. He sort of does manage to save it, but let's have a look, see exactly what happened there.
Lost it going in. Oh, tried his best to make sure that the car stayed relatively, and again the car bit and went the other way.
Yeah, that's a killer. Does that, so desperately trying to save it, just cooking the tyres more and more and more and more and more and more, and suddenly the front bites and you're just like, nothing you can do. But yeah, unfortunate that group just closed back up again.
There you go, he probably would have had to let go of the wheel. It would have bit back quite violently going through that part of the course. Speaking of biting back, David Peyton has took the lead back in the Mazda MX-5's. Story of this race, I think. We've still got over an hour to go to try and settle this. As up the inside goes Iannucci on Schwenke going into the bus stop chicane. No way through there. And into the pits goes Giuseppe Iannucci. So the first roll of the dice in terms of strategy in the Mazda MX-5s. And it is Giuseppe Iannucci that's the first to blink, and he makes the trip into the pit lane.
Now, I think we spoke to the guys last week, and they were trying to time it so that they pitted at a time where they wouldn't get held up by the the leaders in sort of the Mustangs when they're coming up. And right now, Russell is very, very close to these guys. I think, not sure, he's 10 seconds behind, and he's going to come into the pits as well. So maybe a real early stop for him, for Iannucci. So who carries on? Travis Davis carries on though. So, but again, I still don't think he's going to get there this next lap. So it's a strategy call to come in.
We've had a bit of a bizarre crash here for Matthew Cotillo. It's a while ago as well. It was going into La Source, and it probably explains why he's dropping down the order. Which Mustang is this? Name and shame time. Stephen Thomas has a huge lunge, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a broken right front on a Matthew Cotillo's car, because he hit him with a fair whack going into the source.
Oof, it was a little while ago, wasn't it, as well? Just trying to find it. Still not there yet. Keep going back.
It's at the source at the start of the lap.
Here we go, so we're just seeing that now. That Alundra, is that just a missed break? Looks to me like just a mistake, and couldn't get out of it then. So, but you're right, it's absolutely killed Taylor's car. He's just limping it back to the pits, trying to get it repaired basically.
Russell Classen's also been in whilst we were looking at the replays. Stephen Thomas also has come into the pits as well, along with Raymond Bader Jr. The Mustangs that haven't pitted yet, we've got Travis Davis, Brandon Whitworth, John Ehlers, Michael Burgett, along with Chad McDonald and Ryan Tibbetts. So the top 6 are still yet to make a pit stop in this race.
Clint Viger's quite clear as well. 17.6 seconds was his stop. When you compare that to Russell's 22 seconds flat there.
And Iannucci as well.
Yeah, that will count for the 5 seconds. Yeah, Iannucci all the way down in 10th place. His was a 23.4 second stop, so he's way down.
Yeah, and if you put that into pit lane time, Clint Vigus was in the pit lane for 1:19. Pasquale Iannucci 1:30, 90 seconds for our race leader from the first stint, and that will put him in effective 4th place for now anyway. We'll see what the other drivers in front can do when they make their pit stops. Travis Schwenke and George Fike have both come in the Mazda MX-5s. Travis Schwenke, of course, was the leader, was fighting for the lead anyway in the Mazda MX-5s, and he's just coming down the super long pit lane now, making sure he doesn't hit that concrete wall on the outside. And he's the first, he's another of the leaders to blink. We'll see where he comes out in response to Giuseppe Iannucci, of course.
Hartley, Payton and McFarlane having a little battle. They've got some traffic to deal with now as well. Fortunately, it can just stream past them on the Kemmel.
Sort of, yeah.
Or can it? Some of it can.
Hartley around the outside of Payton, might try and box Payton in here. As also in the mix there is Tyler McFarlane. They're still trying to get past this Mustang of Robert Brist. Around the outside, Payton really struggling. He's got that Mustang still in the way. And now he's trying to still can't get by. Well, I mean, I was saying there was a 10-second time difference, but I'm trying to work out whereabouts it is, considering that the Mustang wasn't able to just breeze by the Mazda MX-5 on the Kemmel straight. Yeah, unless Brist is nursing an issue.
Yeah, I would have thought it would just smoked him, to be honest, so that really is a surprise. MX-5's strength really is the corners.
Brandon Whitworth into the pits on this lap, along with Michael Burgett. That just leaves the top 3 left: Davis, Ehlers, and McDonald, who are yet to make their pit stop.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of Chad today. He's sort of been in a little bit of no man's land. He's got Clint Vigus 2.9 seconds behind him, and of course Clint has had his stop, so Chad doing alright. Is he the top open driver at the moment? Guessing he is, mainly because he hasn't pitted, but who's the top open driver who's pitted? Brandon Whitworth.
They're asking, yeah. I haven't got the overlay up to assist you there, Alex, but I can have a look at the standings to try and help you. It looks like Whitworth.
Place right now, Whitworth, so I think he'll get next 7th. Maybe he might get John as well. I don't know, I'll be close. So, but yeah, good job for Brandon.
Travis Davis on his way to Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. Probably we'll see him at the end of this lap. Started in 7th, up 6 positions to 1st. Only just under a minute ahead of Clint Vigus. So we can assume he definitely will lose the lead. Probably will slot out in about 13th place. Just behind Chad Osborne and Leon Wright.
Oh, Chad McDonald and Vigus crazy closing speed in comparison, so much quicker lap times, nearly 4 seconds, so not surprised to see that sort of closure rate.
Even with these cool conditions, Alex, is that just tyres that Chad McDonald's struggling with?
A little bit, but when you look at the lap time difference.
Oh no! And there you go. Clint Vigus spinning Chad McDonald there.
Yeah, just a bit of impatience there, really. Like I said, there's 4 second difference. You know, it's going to be around here. 4 seconds is probably 3/4 tenths of a second per corner. So you know, you really have to back it down so to avoid hitting them. And yeah, poor Chad around. Now he needs to have a pit stop as well.
And yeah, Chad McDonald now down to 9th position. John Ehlers also in. So the top 2 in the Mustangs, and this should put Clint Vigus back to the lead. Pasquale Iannucci also getting past Tyler Shiflett. That's a move for position because Iannucci coming off the back of that terrible pit stop. And yeah, that is Iannucci now up into what is effectively 3rd place.
And Russell Clayson very, very close again, 1.3 seconds. So after that little mistake and little coming together, that's all changed around. Where is Davis? He's away, but only leaving the pits now, so it's going to be quite a way behind. Definitely lost the tail end of this group. not really what we wanted, was it, Adam? The pit stops to break this pack up. So let's hope they somehow manage to find each other again.
Yeah, because Iannucci will be trying his best to get up to the back of Klassen and Vigus again. They're the top two. We'll see what sort of lap times those guys can do now once the pit stops have been completed. Vigus now the race leader, Klassen second, Iannucci third. Tyler Shiflett is now in fourth, up 6 positions, so a good first stint of the race from him. Travis Davis just emerged from the pits, he's now in fifth. Brandon Whitworth sixth, top open driver in that category. Stephen Thomas seventh, eighth Jeff Jacobs, ninth Mike Dam, who's recovering after that damage that he picked up in that battle, and Chad Osborne rounding out the top 10. Our excitement can now turn to the Mazda MX-5s because David Payton is now coming into the pit lane. Is he going to be joined by Richard Losper? I think he has been. Yes, he has. So those two into the pits, and we're about to find out once they make their pit stops where they will be in correspondence to Giuseppe Iannucci and Travis Schwenke and Rob Hartley, the three drivers that they were battling with before the pit stops began.
Crazy look where they are on the track. You know, it's almost half a lap away, but that's how long it takes to navigate that endurance pit lane there.
If you could pick, Alex, which two cars you prefer to race around this circuit today, which one would you be in, Mustang or the Mazda MX-5?
I think I would go with the MX-5, only because the car sort of rotates off the corners quite reasonable, and that's kind of what you want around Spa. You know, you just want to put your foot down and have that back end just, you know, subtly come around with you, so you're not fighting the understeer constantly on the way out. Yeah, get a nice setup. I think this would be quite a joy to drive around here. As who's that gone in the pits? Michael Key.
Michael Key, yeah. And also Dan Carrido into the pits as well. Yeah, so we've got all the Mazda MX-5s have now pitted, apart from Scott Kennedy. Scott Kennedy carrying on. He's just gone through Lake Com now, and he's doing a very long stint.
It's going to be close, you know, between them. David's away. And
Iannucci just going through the source.
Oh,
we've got four Mazda MX-5s here as well, so this could all meet very sticky mess here. And Payton, he's going to lose. He's definitely lost out big here, Alex, because Kennedy, not Kennedy through, Iannucci through, Hartley through, McFarlane is also through. And out of all this, David Payton, he's probably going to emerge in about 6th place or so after all that.
Yeah, that didn't work at all. With no draft or anything, so to get tucked in behind those Mustangs as soon as possible. I'm hearing a little bit of contact somewhere. Oh, I just heard the noise.
Yeah, there's a car off.
Usually a couple of cars rubbing.
Corey Tesla's off. It's in a completely different part of the circuit, Alex, but I don't think it was contact. It looked like he's had an issue for a while. Yeah, he's just gone back to the pits. I don't know, it was a blown engine actually. I don't think it was. I think he just brought the car to a halt. So it looked like he had a bit of damage as well. So problem there for those guys. Scott Kennedy, he's just on his way now through Blanchimont. And yes. Michael Key just coming out the pits too.
See if he's going to be in again this time. And yep, Russell back towards the front.
The lead in the Mustangs, and I can tell you that Scott Kennedy's come in the Mazda MX-5, so we've completed all the pit stops there. But Pim Vigus leading, second Russell Klassen, and we've got leaders from both classes in about the same camera shots. Vigus leading the way in the Mustangs, and Giuseppe Iannucci, effective leader in the Mazda MX-5s, with Travis Schwenke not too far behind him. Time for Vigus 2:41.0, 2:40.6, so very quick time there by Russell Klassen, closing in now.
Very, very good lap indeed. Just a reminder that you're watching the Ricmotech Sportscar Series. Head on over to ricmotechdom.com even for all your high performance sim racing equipment. Wheels, pedals, button boxes, rigs, you name it, they've got it.
Brilliant championship so far. Started out the season at Daytona International Speedway, 90-minute race there. And we went to Sebring in Florida for the second races. Oh my word, Alex, we could have an issue here. We've got Shiflett and Iannucci battling for position along with
as the leaders.
along with the leaders of the MX-5s.
And well, Russell also going for the lead as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's got that done into Lecombe. Let's have a look back and see what else is going on. We're okay. Everybody survives behind, but yeah, great move from Russell. Just got the run down the Kemmel straight, and yeah, clear even before the braking zone. Really, fairly standard for him in the end. Moves towards the front.
And as Klassen into the lead. I think that is the first time he has hit the lead today. Started second, of course, had Iannucci leading the way in the early going, and now it's his turn to hit the front. And Iannucci's lost the position that he had over Tyler Schiffler a moment ago. He's now back down to 4th place. Definitely will be ruining that a bad pit stop early on, because he definitely had things relatively under control at the front in the Mustang category.
And the crazy thing is, Russell was one of the longer pit stops. Ish.
22 seconds,
22 seconds, yeah. Everyone else sort of around there as well. And Clint was sort of 17.6, so it looks like Clint sort of short field, and you expected him to be
short second stint
way out there. But Russell, exactly the same sort of pit stop overall time, but with the stationary time a little bit longer. So absolutely must have nailed the in lap and sort of the pit exit as well.
Yeah, because there's a 6-second time difference between Klassen and Iannucci in terms of pit lane, as Travis Schwenke and Giuseppe Iannucci continue their battle for the Mazda MX-5 lead. But yeah, Clint Vigus, that short pit stop time as well, Alex. Could he be trying to time it so that he can do it on a 2-stop perhaps? Trying to get to that marker in the race where he can get that fuel on and just get him home in terms of a 2-stop race.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, making the strategy so you don't have to do the sort of like the 5 gallons or whatever is going to be very, very difficult to do. So I think really it all comes down to making that final stop, as short as possible. I think Clint sort of went for the shorter strategy earlier on, just to try and get out and get some clear track and away from it. But yeah, unfortunately that didn't work out. So he at some point he's going to have to put the extra fuel into the car, so he's going to drop a bit further back. So, but then again he might do like Russell has done with an exceptional in and out lap.
Couldn't Vigus have done something in terms of no tyres or 2 tyres, or will they've only just been doing fuel only in these pit stops?
I would think that they'll just be taking tyres as well. With that sort of time, I don't see any reason not to take the tyres. So over these long runs, you just want to keep them in. We see reasonable drop-offs, so I would be amazed if they're not doing it. We'll have to pay attention next time they come in, see if the car jacks up or not.
Is it not like the GT3 cars where you can only do fuel and then you've got to do the tyres? Can you do the fuel and the tyre change at the same time?
No, it's done. Yeah, it's all concurrent in these. So it's only really the GT3s that sort of force you to do one first and then the other. Let's have a look further down the order, see what else is going on. Just give some love to some others that haven't had it. So Chad Osborne and Leon Wright, they're 0.8 of a second away at the moment, having their own little battle. They're 4.4 seconds behind Mike Dam, who obviously is suffering with that damage because his lap times have fallen right off since he got hit. But good to see battles going on throughout the field. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Mike Dam 2:41.9 last time around. Compare that to the guys at the front. That is, a second or so different. Not even compare that to Russell Klassen, who did a 2:38 on the last lap, a 2:38.2 as well. And that is definitely something from Russell Klassen, the Californian, really putting the benchmark down here as we start the second half of the race. 44 minutes to go. And Chad Osborne 10th, Leon Rice 11th. Other guys in the Mustangs, we've got John Ehlers in 12th, then Kevin Ford in 13th, and then 14th place on his own, really, David Jacques, who had a moment earlier on in the race. Scott Brooks, who we saw around on the opening lap in the bus stop chicane, and he's got James Gonnier, who was around in La Source earlier on as well. He's got him for company, so Some nice battles going on outside the top 10. Along with Chad McDonald and Robert Brist. Those are guys that are over 19th and 20th place. One of the lower positions in the class. As Michael Burgett looks like he's had a problem with his connection. He might have been thrown out the session because he's dropping down the order.
Yeah, it does indeed. Still, this MX-5 battle rages on. I'm having a look, see if there's anything else going on in that class as well. It looks fairly spread out now, a bit further back.
Oh, John Allen and oh no, it's a lap car. I'm sorry, Alex. I was about to say John Allen was having a battle with Michael Key. However, Key is a lap down in that category. Yeah, things strung out a little bit in the Mazda MX-5s now. If you don't include the lead battle, as Iannucci slides his way through Les Con. He's just been lapped by Stephen Thomas and Jeff Jacobs. How far away is Tyler McFarlane? Not too far away. What's David Payton's lap times been like since he's come out the pits? 2:47.7 for him on the last lap. 2:48.
So it was 30-second stop, so I wonder if there's some sort of penalty there as well. It's 30-second on the nose, you know? Don't know.
Crazy to believe it. Feels like a while ago since he made the pit stop. He's only on his third lap since leaving the pits. So, yeah, still trying to get everything up to speed for David Payton. And he is currently now sitting a good 9 seconds off the Mazda MX-5 lead, 6 seconds off Tyler McFarlane, and 8 seconds off Rob Hartley in third place. So, quite a bit of good ground to make up inside the final 41 minutes of the race.
Iannucci and Tyler having a little battle here, side by side, going into Blanchimont. Iannucci getting the run and moves ahead before the super sweeping left-hander there.
Tyler Shippett was the quicker car on the last lap. As my time on screen anyway, it says that Russell Klassen's lost the lead. Car off! It's Klassen! That is Russell Klassen. The race leader's gone. What has happened to him? It looks like a mistake on the exit of the bus stop chicane, Alex. The race leader's binned it.
Yeah, let's have a look. See exactly what he did, how he did it.
Does the reverse though. 3-point turn.
Hit the inside curb? No, he didn't. Just lit the rears up coming out of it, and then has to yam on the old brakes. But yeah, big problem there. All that hard work to get to the front. Yeah. Did some great moves as well, and just yeah, around she came and down to fourth.
Yeah, behind Schiffler and Iannucci now. Iannucci up into second place. He's been able to get by Tyler Schiffler again. And yeah, Russell Klassen, I thought it was another glitch on my timing screen because he'd been doing so well in the lead. But yeah, lost it on the final chicane, the bus stop chicane. And had a 2-second lead as well over second place at that time. And yeah, Clint Vigus is our new race leader here in the Mustang category. Second, Pasquale Iannucci, getting closer to the lead again. 6 seconds though between himself and Vigus. Tyler Schiffler in third. Russell Klassen now in fourth place, as Alex was saying. Travis Davis fifth, Whitworth sixth. Thomas and Jacob still close in seventh and eighth. And then Mike Dam ninth and 10th place, which is Leon Wright. He's now got to negotiate the lead trio in the Mazda MX-5s, which should be fun for him.
Checking back in as with the MX-5s again, so all three drivers very, very close. Tyler McFarlane getting closer as well, 2 seconds back, so great lap time from him last time, a 2:46.8. Brings him very, very close. Almost the quickest we've seen in that class. Quickest being Iannucci with a 2:46.7.
This part of the lap, the Mustangs definitely suffer in trying to get past these Mazda MX-5s here. There's something really they can do.
The MX-5s are quick through the corners, that's the thing. I don't think they're any slower than the Mustangs at all. And if anything, it may be a tiny bit quicker. But of course, as soon as the Mustangs get on the power, they just tend to have that little bit more grunt.
We could see here, oh, I thought he was going to get hit at the rear then, Travis Schwenke by the Mustang of Leon Wright. And this could be costly for Schwenke now, Alex, because he's got, oh no, this could be interesting. Whoa! as Chad Osborne splits the middle there of the Mustang and the Mazda X5s. And I thought that was going to be quite detrimental to Travis Fenke, but turns out he's lost no time at all.
Yeah, no problems whatsoever. So the battle continues.
Into how many Super Bowl parties these guys had last night. Crazy game that was.
I have to confess I haven't seen it. So,
well, yeah, it was a good game. I'll say that. And I don't usually follow American football in the slightest. And yeah, even I was on the edge of my seat in overtime. I won't spoil it for anyone that's watched it. It was the Atlanta Falcons playing the New England Patriots. And now American sports fans can look forward to the Daytona 500, which happens in a few weeks' time. Here comes Rob Hartley then on Giuseppe Iannucci on the exit of Raidillon.
Get out of the gas there as well.
Yeah, very close there. Looking to get that lead down the straight. Going into Lake Com. See if we could possibly go on board one of these guys for a lap, Alex, if we go through this part of the course. Don't know who to pick though, Iannucci, Hartley or Schwenke.
Let's go on board. We'll go on board with Hartley here. Sort of been right in the middle of it, so if something goes on, we'll usually see the car around one side of the lot.
Yeah, we can have a little peek in the mirror. Into the corner with no name, turn 7. Now on the way towards Pouon. I think it does have a name now, but more famous for not having a name. Liège, I think Mr. Woodhouse always used to say it was called. 150 kilometers per hour going into Pouon. Downhill left-hander. The F1 drivers have had some big crashes there in the past. Now into the Fania chicane or Piff Paff. Rob Hartley's lost a bit of time through this section of the course. However, he will be able to use the slipstream in the section we're about to come up to now. Through Stavelot and curve Paul Frere, and then the run to Blanchimont.
Ended in that gravel trap there far too many times, I have to say, in all sorts of different series. My nemesis, Stavelot.
Does it invite you to take too much speed? Is that the problem, Alex? Or was it been a reason why you've been going off there?
Yeah, I think well, the other sort of services I run it on, there's like a little bump, and I always find myself locking up and just flying straight on. So, but it's not so bad on iRacing, to be honest.
I think the Rain car for KMI have had a crash there a few years ago, so you're not alone there. Even some of the best F1 drivers are questionable, I admit. But yeah, car for KM's been off there once or twice. Second round of pit stops starting to begin, Alex. Jeff Jacobs and Mike Dam coming in into the pits now.
That's a lap then, just about finished, as we just go through what is commonly known, or is commonly term 1, but yeah, obviously with this layout there's the Rouge.
Yeah, the timing lines. Yeah.
I was just going to say, let's just take a quick look at Russell here as well, because he's closed back in on Iannucci, so a bit between his teeth to try and do that. And yeah, I'll just leave you with that for a second.
Yeah, Klassen going through turn 7 now, and on his way towards Pouon. Wonder when we'll see these guys coming in for their second round of pit stops. We've seen 3 of the Mustangs coming in so far for their second round of pit stops. Mike Dam, who we saw at the front of the field earlier on, picks up that damage whilst battling for what was second place with Russell Klassen, and has never been the same since. And with 35 minutes or 34 minutes left on the clock, we'll see whether that's enough for these guys to get home. I'm sure the drivers will try and avoid having to make that third pit stop at all costs. It's definitely not a short pit lane here at Spa, and you don't want to sacrifice 90 seconds plus trying to make that third pit stop for just that tiny little bit of fuel. I wonder if any of these drivers will be trying to eke it out. And what they don't want is a situation we have in the IMSA Sportscar Series race, which we cover on Sunday nights, and that is starting a lap with about 5 seconds to go. And we have seen many of the GT3 cars in that category running out of fuel on the final lap. Can Klassen get it done on Iannucci into the bus stop chicane then? At the moment, these guys have both had turns leading the race, and Klassen nearly runs into the back of Iannucci there. See what the lap times are like. 39.1 last time around for Iannucci, 38.3 for Klassen, 38.7 this time for Klassen, and 38.7 for Iannucci. That's better from Iannucci. Tyler Shiflett has come into the pits on this lap. Was battling with Iannucci, of course, a while ago. Fallen a bit off the boil since then. 11 lap stint, Tyler Shiflett. Been a 10 lap stint for Stephen Thomas. He's also in on this lap. And that is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Mustangs that have come into the pits on this lap. Don't know if Alex Simpson's back yet, but I can tell you that the lead in the Mazda MX-5s has changed hands. Rob Hartley leading Giuseppe Iannucci, but I think we'll see plenty more changes for the lead in that category as the evening winds down. Well, 2/3 of the way through this 90-minute race, half an hour or so to go, and we still have 2, possibly 3 pit stops to make. Oh, maybe 1 then, if you think my wording right. Iannucci then into Rivage. Saw Lewis Hamilton go off there in the 2010 Belgian Grand Prix. Very questionable conditions. We had rain, we had sunshine. Very hard race to get right on that occasion. Sebastian Vettel also having a crash with Jenson Button, but Iannucci and Russell Klassen, they're still running relatively clean so far. And you've got to say Klassen definitely looks the quicker through this part of the race. Who's been on the stint longer? 11 laps, yeah, for Iannucci, 10 for Klassen. The car maybe slightly fresher for Russell Klassen. Plus, he was leading as well before he had that spin at the bus stop chicane, and he's determined to try and get back. Maybe not to lead. Vigas is a bit of a way up the road, 3 seconds up the road, and yeah, he'll be trying to get that position back.
That gap has come down quite considerably though, so, you know, I just popped away there as well. 4.5 seconds down to 2.6 to the front, so a great stint from Pascal Iannucci there, and yeah, Vigas under a little bit of pressure, especially with the short stop that he had. Yeah. You know, that lead has really been eaten away.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just trying to eke out this stint as much as he can as John Allen gets out of the way. Here comes Klassen then for second place in the Ford Mustangs. I wonder if Iannucci's just... Oh, maybe not. He's come back up the inside. I thought he was going to be pitting.
Very late on the brakes.
No!
Oh, they're in all together.
No. Oh, dear.
Oh, God.
It waited for the... Where's the priority signal? Highway code and all that. Vigas into the pits, Iannucci into the pits, and Klassen into the pits.
Well, they've got damage. So, yeah, interesting. But I think important for Clint there as well is that actually they've all pitted at the same time. So even that short stint, they've not eked their fuel out any longer, really. So, of course, they could have more in the tank. But
yeah,
who knows?
Vigas had the long stint, 13 laps for him on that set of tyres and fuel, 12 laps for Iannucci, 11 laps for Russell Klassen. So they've all come to a head again. Leon Wright also into the pits for the second time. Travis Davis, Brandon Whitworth, and Scott Brooks, along with James Gonnier, the other cars are yet to make their second trip through the pits.
Travis got a lot of damage on his car. Did we miss an accident or something there? I mean, look at the state of that.
Yeah, because he was battling with Iannucci, wasn't he? A while ago. I know he picked up the damage to the left rear when there was that spin up at Les Combes, I think, earlier on. But yeah, the front of that Mustang looking crumpled.
Time's quite a bit slower now as well, so 43 the last lap, so...
Yeah, on lap 18 he did a 2:41. I wonder if something happened there. In fact, I know he did a 3:04 on lap 21, Alex. And he's only been into the pits once. Well, at least that's what my information tells me. So, a 3:04, definitely something happened on lap 21 to Travis Davis.
You're obviously trying to get it to that pit stop, so get in, get some repairs. But still in a reasonably strong position. Obviously, you know, he needs to score good, consistent points as our championship leader. But
oh dear,
the car just looks like it's sort of, you know, it's swaying around a bit. So, really is struggling. If he can get in that pits and get himself just a little bit of repairs, you know, it might make the difference.
Well, I've had a look at the replay, Alex. I don't know, it's probably too far back for you to have a look, but it looks just like a miscommunication with a Mustang, the Mustang of Travis Davis and the Mazda MX-5 of Mike Taylor. Basically, Mike Taylor moves over down the Kemmel Straight in a way to say, there you
sorry,
go, have
Adam,
the
let me
inside
cut
line,
you
but
short,
yeah.
as we were just looking at Jeff Jacobs and Stephen Thomas having a little battle, but Jacobs deciding he doesn't want to go by. You could hear him, we were on board, he's just letting off there down the straight, so maybe a bit of fuel strategy going on right now. Sorry, Adam, carry on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, miscommunication between the Mustang of Davis and the Mazda MX-5 down the Kemmel Straight in. Basically the Mustang crashed in avoidance, Travis Davis there, so shame really. And he's second now, but lost a whole lot of time, a good 20 seconds or so in that crash on the Kemmel Straight.
Who has not had any airtime today? Ryan Tibbetts. Good morning, sir. Get you up on screen right now, just so we can check in with you. Currently sat 13th place. He's only had the one pit stop so far, 5.1 seconds behind John. Chad McDonald behind him.
Tell you what, you won't see many clean Mustangs in this race today, and Ryan Tibbetts is definitely one of them.
Yeah, doing well. And David Jacks as well. Haven't seen too much of him tonight. Featured quite heavily last week, if I remember rightly, at Laguna
Seca.
Yeah. The brain's sort of half there now, I think. But I just thought we would pop in. Mike Dam struggling. He has had his second stop, but I hate to say it, but that damage really killed his race off somewhat. Got some more repairs. Last lap was fairly decent, a 1:38, so back up to speed, but it has taken a couple of pit stops to get his car back in good order. But it really hurt him. He was right up there in the race. You can see that left rear damage. Still visible, but nowhere near as bad as what it was. Oh, there is something going on. Where was that? Oh no, just guys coming into the pit. Sorry, saw some changing in places on the timing screen.
It's kicking off in the Mazda MX-5s. Rob Hartley coming into the pits, so is Travis Fenke, and David Payton coming into the pits as well. I know he was a bit behind, but those guys are at the front coming in now, and it's going to be a race between the mechanics, the invisible mechanics on Travis Fenke and Rob Hartley's car. Who's going to get the lead on the exit of the pit lane? They are changing tyres. You can see the cars jacking up and all of that. And away goes Hartley. And away goes
great
Fenke.
when we see when we actually see the crew.
Hashtag soon, probably.
Well, yeah. And I think the problem is as well, I think you only see your own, so in the broadcast I still don't think we'll see any of them, which will be a bit of a shame. You know, I want to see, that busy pit lane.
Yeah, imagine 63, I think that's the capacity we get here at Spa-Francorchamps. Imagine 63 pit mechanics in the pits. That'll definitely be something in the future. iRacing, if you're listening. Brandon Whitworth into the pits then, so our race leader for now anyways, making the trip down the pit lane. Travis Davis should follow him in. And then how far are Clint Vigas and Tyler Schiffler apart? They're 4 seconds apart. Schiffler the big winner out of the pit stops, Alex.
Big time.
Then. He's now second.
Yeah. Big time, a 21.1. Iannucci, 16.7 second stop. So that's your shorter one, but didn't work out at all, so... Is that just a slow sort of not service time, but slow in lap and out lap there?
Well, he had a super long second pit stop, and maybe he's just keeping that fuel reserve in, and putting up the rest of it to go to the end. So, topping it up a little bit. So yeah, Iannucci in 5th, 16 second stop. That should be effectively 3rd place after all that.
I mean, remember he'd caught up to what 2.4 seconds behind the Vigas before the pitted. So again, it's something's gone on that we've missed there because he's way behind.
Iannucci, now 6 seconds behind Clint Vigas. How far is he off Tyler Schiffler? Not too far. Schiffler goes through Eau Rouge. exits Rouge as Iannucci goes into it.
Yeah, there's Tyler. So, yeah, whatever. Oh, who was that? That was a little bit loose.
It was Whitworth leaving the pits. Klassen getting by.
Yeah, it was. No, I thought it was someone coming over the top of the top of Eau Rouge there and getting all out of shape. I was getting all excited for a moment.
Oh, he could have a crash on. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, Iannucci. I'll be honest. I think he's been the quickest overall driver tonight. You know, regularly putting in good, quick, consistent lap times. But unfortunately, just there's two mistakes that he's made in and around the pit stops that you know, they've cost him dearly.
No, really, yeah. Was leading the race before the pit stops began. Qualified on pole position as well, Pasquale Iannucci. In the championship, he's 5th place. So while he was leading, he had the opportunity to get some points on the guys in front of him. Tyler Shiflett is 4th in the points. He's in front of Iannucci now. Vigas as well, he's 2nd in the points going into this race meeting. And Travis Davis, I know he's yet to make a pit stop. But yeah, he's in front of him as well. Travis Davis, the last guy to make a pit stop, in fact, or the second visit to the pits anyway, with 22 minutes to go, stretching it very long.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to make it all the way. Like I say, he has got that damage, and you can see how the car's tracking. Look at that. No, really, really awkward. But yeah, sticking with it, good on him. And he needs the points. Here he comes into the pits as well. Yeah, he can't afford a DNF, obviously, when you're leading this championship.
Oh, with 21 minutes to go, Alex, can we probably assert that Travis Davis should only need to make this trip to the pits? Should he really be okay after that? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, I think, at this point.
And of course, he's been running so slow that he's been able to afford that. But yeah, he's going to lose out big time, I think, when he's making this trip through the pits. Vigas reassumes the race lead then. Tyler Shiflett, yeah, 3 seconds behind now, as Vigas has to negotiate Mike Taylor, who was the Mazda MX-5 that caused Travis Davis to have his crash on the Kemmel Straight.
So it's so painful as Travis sees all the leaders in his class disappearing up the straight towards Eau Rouge.
See the remnants of the Mazda MX-5 lead battle. Rob Hartley is just holding off Travis Schwenke. There's a bit of a gap between the two of them, quite big in terms of Mazda MX-5s really. As those guys are still yet to see the guys in front of them come to the pits. Half a second between Hartley and Schwenke. McFarlane and Kennedy have been in, currently in, and George Fike might join them on this lap.
Well, we hit that point, Adam, 20 minutes to go, and let's just give everyone a quick little recap, shall we?
Yeah, so a good race so far. Pasquale Iannucci started on the pole position, led early on. Mike Dam was up at the front battling for the lead, but then he had a bit of contact whilst battling for second place. He dropped down the order, and then when the first round of pit stops came around, it was Russell Klassen that emerged out on top. But then he had a momentary spin at the bus stop chicane, and that has set him back down to 5th place. Now the second round of pit stops have been completed, running through the top 10 in each class. Clint Vigas leading the way then with 19 minutes to go. Tyler Shiflett in 2nd place. 3rd is Pasquale Iannucci. 4th Russell Klassen, 5th Brandon Whitworth. 6th Stephen Thomas. Not too far behind him is Jeff Jacobs in 7th. Then 10 seconds back it's Chad Osborne in 8th, 9th Leon Wright, and 10th is John Ehlers. In the Mazda MX-5s as well, Richard Losber leading the way. George Fike in 2nd place. Those two yet to make their second visit to the pits. Rob Hartley in 3rd, Travis Schwenke in 4th. Giuseppe Iannucci, who was in the lead in the Mazda MX-5s at one point. It's not been a good race for the Iannuccis. He's in 5th in the Mazda MX-5. David Payton in 6th, Scott Kennedy 7th. Tyler McFarlane, who's currently in the pits, is in 8th. John Allen in 9th. Dan Carrido in 10th. That's your recap then, and you're watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by TD's Tree Service, with 19 minutes to go.
Should be a good close. Still some good battles out there right now. And yeah, big shout out and thanks to Ricmotech for supporting the series.
Intriguing that Losper and Fike are running long. 12 lap stint for Losper, 14 lap stint for George Fike. And these guys are definitely going to be the last two in the Mazda MX-5 to make their second trip to the pits.
Jeff Jacobs and Stephen Thomas still having their little battle out there. Let's go back on board with Jeff and see if he lifts down the Kemmel straight again, because the pit stops have been done.
Stephen Thomas 6th in the GS Pro, Jeff Jacobs 8th in the GS Pro, 9 points between them going into this race meeting. See if they can use this Mazda MX-5 down the straight to get some slipstream. That is Edgar Sanchinelli. Looks like Jeff Jacobs used as much of it as he could, and then they should breeze by, reaching top speed of about 220 plus kilometers per hour down the straight, Alex.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he has lifted out of it, but I don't think he would have even got there anyway. So it just makes sense to do it there. But yeah, when we were on board with him just a few laps ago, then obviously we had absolute prime position to get a move done.
George Fike into the pits in the Mazda MX-5s. That just leads Richard Losper out there to make his second pit stop. 17 minutes to go. Things have settled down now. Apart from that battle between Jeff Jacobs and Stephen Thomas, those guys relatively close.
Yeah, John Ells and Leon Wright as well having their own little battle. That's for 9th and 10th. So.
And second place is heating up as well. Schiffler and Iannucci very close going through curve Paul Frere.
Yeah, 2 seconds a lap. 2 seconds, 1.4 seconds quicker. Sorry, Iannucci was that time. So got the bit between his teeth. There's a 5-second gap to the lead. If he can get by Tyler here and pull away, to get all on the grass before heading into Blanchimont. Tyler running a little bit wide off there. You'll get a 1x for that. And but he holds on.
Very hard to get disqualified in this championship. An instant limit of 36. So that equates to about 9 4x's. If the drivers wanted to think about it in that way.
That was a tough one though. You know, that's from this race. What's that? We're on lap 27.
8.
So
yeah,
you know, we're gonna be. You can afford one lap, I think, you know, one off-track a lap. So get a couple of 4x's in there. That might make it a bit more of a challenge.
loss of control as well, 2x for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the drivers aren't fully out of the woods.
Yeah, and for anybody
Literally.
that's tuning in late night and, you know, just doesn't know what this is all about as well. So the Ricmotech Series is split into 2 different categories. Well, say 4 real different categories. So 2 classes of car. So you've got the GS class, which is what you're seeing on screen right now. That's the Mustangs, and they're indicated by the green stripes that are on the overlays next to their names and things like that. And then we have the ST class as well, which is the there we go, the Mazda MX-5s, and you can tell them by the blue stripes on the overlay. So, and keep an eye out as well, because there's different sort of subdivisions in each class. You have the Pro division, which is just underneath the driver's name. You can spot that there in the on the overlay, and then you have an open class as well. So separate championships for everyone to run in there as well. So it does give a good opportunity for sort of people of all ability to come and enter the series and have some fun racing sort of people in and around their level.
Always something up for grabs, which is what we enjoy about the competition here in sim racing. And next week, the Ricmotech Sportscar Series will be heading to the Pocono Road Course, which will be a new experience for me. Don't know about you, Alex, but yeah, I've never seen a road race around the Pocono circuit.
Well, no, I haven't seen a race around there as well, as we watch Iannucci pulling out from the slipstream just before Blanchimont. He's got this done, has he, this time? They are closing in as a group on Clint as well. So, but maybe with Pascal trying to lead this way, Sorry, Pasquale. Might just close up a little bit quicker. Looking at lap times again, they were 7/10 quicker that lap as well. So that sort of rate, we're going to see this come to a 3-car battle at the end of this one.
Yeah,
but,
50. Yeah,
I was just going to say, Pocono. Never seen a race there, but I have. Drove the Williams FW31 around there, which that was quite an experience, I have to say.
Was that just out of boredom, or was that just? Let's have a go.
Yeah, this was a fair while ago, like a couple of years back, and we were obviously looking for alternative tracks to race at from the same sort of, boring few that we have and cycle through. So it was just like, let's see if we can find one random one that's actually fairly reasonable. So I did a handful of laps around there. Suffice it to say, we didn't select it.
Wonder if there's there's legs to doing a championship on the most bizarre layouts possible too. I haven't seen any races around the Alton Park Fosters circuit. That'd be one to watch. Also, the Imola bike layout, a very tight final chicane there, as Richard Losper finally comes into the pits in the Mazda MX-5s. 14 lap stint from him. He's been leading the way the last few laps, and that should finally put Rob Hartley back to the lead. How far is Travis Fenke behind? Not too far, actually. So we could have a final surge in the battle for the race win in the Mazda MX-5s.
How is it we always seem to end here? It looks like there's going to be quite a separation, but in the closing sort of 10 minutes or so, it hots back up again. So, yeah, lead is going to be very, very close, half a second in the MX-5s, and we've got this sort of clock battle that's going on right now with Iannucci and Vigas, and it's slowly coming down. But I honestly do feel by the time we reach the final lap of the race, they're going to be on top of each other.
Always seems to be the trait of American racing, Alex, I must say. Yeah, NASCAR racing is similar to that. You start off with a bit of excitement, and then there's that little bit of a lull in the middle, and then you've got the grandstand finish, and that's what we definitely got here in both classes, with just over 11 minutes to go here in round 4 of the Ricmotech Sportscar Series. Adam Bath with Alex Simpson, iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series driver, bringing you all the action here tonight. It's about 10:15 on the East Coast. 3:15 here in the UK, where we're broadcasting the race today.
As the questions come in as well, Nancy, Travis had a little accident with a back marker, unfortunately, a bit of miscommunication, and unfortunately he was involved in a crash, and his car is in not pretty good shape at the moment. So he's lapping a little bit slower, dropping down the order slowly, but I think he's safe. He's going to finish around about where he is now, so sort of 11th place, but just a bit unfortunate, wasn't it, Adam?
Yeah, really unfortunate. Really just down the Kemmel Straight, and trying to lap a Mazda MX-5, and some wires were crossed, I think we could say. 10 minutes to go.
3.2 seconds, 1 second that lap. So, like I say, it's hotting up.
Down to 3 seconds now between Vigas and Iannucci. Clint Vigas from Michigan, or at least that's what his club is on iRacing. Pasquale Iannucci, New York, and Tyler Shiflett in 3rd place from Virginia. And then Klassen in 4th from California, and then Mid-South for Brandon Whitworth in 5th, with Stephen Thomas in 6th from Texas. And also, one thing we see, Alex, in this championship, we don't see in the many BSR series that we cover on this channel, is that you don't get a fresh car when you make a pit stop. This is the car that you dealt with at the start of the race, and you've got to look after it well.
That's it. And it's no longer just one car chasing down Clint Vigas as well. 3.1 seconds is the gap. Tyler and now Russell Clayson joins this trio.
Well, I think they're almost in the same shot. Our leader and 2nd and 3rd and 4th for that matter. 2nd place man Iannucci has got John Allen and George Fike in his way, which he should dispose of now. Judging from that time difference as well, I don't think Vigas has had the best of laps trying to negotiate this traffic. Iannucci should breeze past both of them now. The gap's 2.8 seconds. Tell you what, it's going to be very intriguing when we get to the timing line at the end of the lap to see what the difference is. Now it's up to Shiflett and Klassen to get by these Mazda MX-5s, which they should do so going into the bus stop chicane. Oh, maybe not. Klassen nearly getting the door closed there by George Fike, and Fike loses a position there. Actually, that's a change for position. John Allen getting by George Fike going through the bus stop chicane.
And that right there is how you can use the traffic to get a place. But it's worth pointing out Iannucci not messing around at all, is he? Absolutely on the edge and using all of the track and a little bit more in places just to try and get it down. So 3.8 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's see what the lap time is as they cross the line. Last lap it was only actually about 0.7 of a second, and this time.
Yeah, 240.4 for Vigus, 239.7 for Pasquale.
Yeah, sorry, that was this lap, isn't it? Because the start-finish line is obviously around the corner, but actually the lap reset line is still the traditional start-finish line, which is always a bit confusing.
Yeah, I think the rule is that the timing line always has to be directly adjacent to where race control is. So yeah, that's why the timing line is there and not on the exit of La Source where the start-finish line is. Or the start line is anyway. There's some FIA rules for you to pass the time. 7 minutes to go then. Where is Vigus? He's got some traffic in front of him, which he should approach in the not too distant future. He's got Richard Losper, who is in 6th place in the Mazda MX-5s. And then he's got James Gonnier and Scott Kennedy in the Mazda MX-5s.
So all of a sudden he's put the pedal to the metal because breaking away again, so back up
3.9.
4 seconds looking at my my timing screen. There's another battle going on out there as well. This is for 8th and 9th place, so Leon Wright and John here as well.
And
Novella's he's the place.
And whilst this is happening, Iannucci looks like he's about to fall under pressure from 2nd place. From 3rd place, I should say, Tyler Shiflett and Russell Klassen. So these battles continuing on their way. Wright and Ella's going through the corner with no name and on their way towards Blanchimont. 6 minutes to go. Not too many laps left, in fact. With 6 minutes left on the clock, and it's a 2-minute 40 lap. Probably got about 2-3 laps left of racing here.
Maybe 3 laps. That's really what I was sort of alluding to. I thought, we needed a second lap really out of this gap for Iannucci. So he's just not pulled in anything this lap. So perhaps Clint's just not been navigating the traffic as well, but with this clear air that he's had, just close behind. And Clayson, he's in.
Where's Iannucci gone? Is Iannucci into the pits, possibly? Yeah, he is.
He is into the pits.
And that is not what he wanted, and we could we be seeing, Alex, the 3rd pit stops? Could we see some drivers actually having to force themselves to make this pit stop? Because Iannucci, of course, he had that super long 2nd pit stop. Then he had that short 3rd pit stop, and it looks like it might just not have been enough for him.
Yeah, exactly. Just a couple of laps short for him.
Very frustrating though. To pit with 5 minutes to go. I made a cock up in a IMSA race that I was doing on Saturday night, and there's just nothing worse when you've got yourself settled into a battle and then you've got to make another pit stop that you haven't planned. Plus it doesn't help it then you crash on your way into the pits, which is what I did at Road Atlanta, and then you've got to stay in there for another 20 seconds for mandatory repairs. Sums up my career as an iRacing driver, probably why I stick to being here with you, Alex, commentating on the action. Picking up the odd tip.
Lifting down that straight.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a bit of fuel strategy saving here by these guys. I'll just see how long Iannucci is in the pits actually. I wonder if he's actually forgotten to turn tyres off, because it's a 12-second stop for Iannucci. Or maybe that's just the fuel that you need to get to the end of the race, Alex. 12-second stop compared to the 24 seconds that we usually see it.
Yeah, who knows? Are we going to be surprised here, and we're going to have like this little flux of people come streaming in with just a couple of laps to go? Is it possible that someone could have saved enough fuel to get it out there? Well, maybe Jeff Jacobs' strategy just to stay and lift and coast and all that, might that get him to the end? I'm not sure. We'll wait to play out. I'm sure You know, when I was talking to the guys, they sort of said, you know, one slightly longer, one slightly shorter stop was what we were expecting.
Well, I've been looking at the stint lengths. Brandon Whitworth's on the shortest stint, seven laps. He's just about to complete his 7th lap. Leon Wright and John Ehlers are both on 9 laps, and Travis Davis is on his 6th lap of the stint. So here comes Clint Vigus on his own now, 4-second lead over Russell Klassen.
Yeah, and he's pulling away as
chicane.
well. So yeah, in clean air, he's absolutely going for it. The guy's got a bit close for a moment and just sort of stepped it up a little bit.
If anyone else comes into the pits, Klassen goes on his way again, so does Tyler Schiffler.
For the lead in the MX-5s.
Oh yeah, here comes Rob Hartley and Schwenke then. Down the Kemmel Straight. 190 kilometers per hour, just touching 188 going into Lake Com.
I get this feeling he's waiting as well.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? This is kind of where you want to place yourself as well, isn't it? You know, with a lap to go, you know, the best place I would think probably is going to be, you know, 3-4 tenths of a second behind the leader. So when you come out of Eau Rouge, then you can just get that slipstream down and into Kemmel. Then all you got to do is hold on to it for the rest of the lap. So not always easy. People can get by you, sort of going to Blanchimont. So, you know, but sometimes it's just a bit too risky to leave it to the very, very last corner.
The Mazda MX-5s should have 3 laps to go. They're currently ahead of Clint Vigus on the track. Vigus has just started the penultimate lap of the race, and now, as he backs it into Rivage, no one else has actually made a 3rd visit to the pits inside the top 10 in the Mustangs.
Yeah. Just a mistake, just got the fuel wrong, so, and had to jump on in.
Okay, the cars that are currently in the pit lane, already registered as out. Logan Mitchell's been in the pits a good hour. Tori Tesla and Matthew Katila have been in the pits over 3/4 of an hour now. They've been in there for a good 49 minutes. Who has been in the pits, still in the pits now. He's been in there for a good 17 minutes. David Jacques out. Tyler McFarlane has been in the pits 3 times, and he's come in the lead in the race after the 2nd round of pit stops, where yeah, he was hanging back out, Alex. During the 2nd stint, then timed the 2nd pit stop very well indeed, and yeah, emerged out on top. And whilst coming under a bit of pressure a few laps ago from Pasquale Iannucci, now he looks in relatively comfortable circumstances at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Chose to do his shorter stop at the start, get that sort of track position, get out in front. Interesting that the guys sort of come back at him a little bit, but then he absolutely nailed his stop. And guys just sort of messed up really, and just handed him this rate on a platter. So, but take nothing away from him though. This is it's a great drive, and he's had to work hard at it.
Been a terrible race for Travis Davis, our championship leader in the GS Pro, in 11th position after that contact down the Kemmel Straight. This will surely mean that if Travis Davis can get to the line inside the clock is at 0 now, he should become our new championship leader in the GS Pro standings going into the next race meeting, and he'll be very delighted with that as he negotiates Lake Com for the final time. Rob Hartley and Travis Schwenke are still together. They're on their penultimate lap in the Mazda MX-5s. And I wonder if Schwenke's got enough in reserve to try and get that lead. Richard Losber versus Scott Kennedy, incidentally, in fact, it's Kennedy off. That's why the positions have changed. Oh, Alex, there's big contact between them.
Yeah, I was about to say, we literally just saw them on screen for a second. There was, it was all good, and now, no, it's not. Let's just see this back on replay, and then we can catch up, I think, with Clint for the final few corners. Whereabouts was it, Adam? Talk us through it.
Going into Lake Com then, Scott Kennedy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, a quarter panel there, I think. Yeah, up the inside, and oh dear, yeah, turning in. Richard Losper both go across the grass and the runoff area, and Losper emerged the better out of all of that. Clint Vigus though, he's just on his way now through Stavelot and Curve Paul Frere, about to put another lap on David Payton. His race has been downhill since the 1st round of pit stops. Or stayed out a bit longer than all the other Mazda MX-5s and paid the price after that. Lost the slipstream from the lead trio. and has been on his own ever since. A lonely race for him in 4th place. Yeah, he'll finish in 4th place if he doesn't make too many mistakes. He should take the checkered flag, I think, because yeah, Clint Vigus has just got by. Clint Vigus then into the bus stop chicane, started 4th. His pit stops were impeccable, really, and hasn't looked back since then, and comes through the final corner. Round 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series goes to Clint Vigus. Russell Klassen takes 2nd, and Tyler Shiflett rounds out the podium.
Good close race. Look at them. They're all, you know, they're still close. Any mistake at the end there would have seen you,
Here comes then,
you know, sort of retire, you know, shuffled right back in this race. But yeah.
final lap then for the Mazda MX-5s. Hartley versus Schwenke. Schwenke trying to time it now. He's got the whole lap to try and get the lead then. Final lap for these guys. Going through Les Combes, and they've still got a whole 2 minutes to settle this lead battle then, Alex, going into Rivage.
Yeah, absolutely. We jump on board for the final lap of the race. See if Schwenke can get this done.
Last time around a 46.8 for Travis Schwenke, a 47 dead for, well, 47.1 for Rob Hartley. Hartley covering the inside line on the exit, trying to disturb the slipstream, I think, from Travis Schwenke going into Pouon. Between them in real time, about half a second.
That could be worth like a 1/10 of a second there, and that can be important for the run down into Blanchimont. Every opportunity he's getting, he's trying to move to the left or the right just to quickly get out of the slipstream. In between the corners that really counts with that, and he's making he's making a considerable decision to sort of move quickly to try and break that slipstream.
Into Stavolo then for the final time.
1/10 of a second. This looks a little bit too far back from Travis here. I think he would have needed to have been about 4/10 to get this done. He might need to be a late move into the bus stop. It comes down half a second. 4/10 of a second. Still closing 3/10.
I think he's picking up the speed, going through Blanchimont.
Oh,
this
that's
could be
good
very
as well.
close.
He got a lovely line through there.
Into the bus stop chicane for the final time then for the win in the Mazda MX-5s. Hard on the brakes they go. Up the inside goes Hartley. Round the outside is going to go Schwenke. A lunge up the inside. He goes for it. And now it's going to be a run to the line. Who's it going to be? Hartley will have the speed on the exit of the corner. And it will be Travis Schwenke that wins in the Mazda MX-5s. No, it's Rob Hartley. Sorry. There you go. Screwed that up. I meant Rob Hartley.
Give it every opportunity, didn't he, there with that move up the inside. And but yeah, like you say, just didn't quite have the momentum off the corner. So awesome from those two. Great race throughout. Iannucci comes across for third. Another driver. Well, both guys very, very quick today. But I feel like they could have won these races in each class. But things just didn't quite go their way.
Peyton's already finished the race, so that's why he's into the pits. And yeah, that is your top 3 in the Mazda MX-5s. Well, the action was all non-stop, Alex, until just briefly after the second round of pit stops, where we had a brief lull in proceedings. But yeah, everyone was able to close back up to each other, and we had battles in the lead for both classes really towards the end of the race.
Yep, exactly what we wanted to see, you know. So some good battling throughout. So perfect real race. There was a couple of little accidents, but generally, for the most part, really, really clean. And yeah, awesome stuff.
Ready for the finishing order then from round 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by TD's Tree Service. Clint Vigus takes the win, Russell Klassen second, Tyler Shiflett finishing in third after starting in 10th, one of the biggest movers through the field really. 4th for Brandon Whitworth, 5th Stephen Thomas, 6th Jeff Jacobs, 7th 2 seconds behind Leon Wright, 8th John Ehlers, 9th for Chad Osborne, and 10th our pole sitter Pasquale Iannucci. That final stint and that extra pit stop that he had to make, really putting pay to his race. Travis Davis finishing 11th, championship leader, most certainly has relinquished that lead now. Raymond Bader Jr. 12th, Ryan Tibbetts in 13th. 14th I should say. Mike Dam 15th, 1 lap down. Robert Briss 16th, also a lap down. James Gonnier 1 lap down in 17th, along with Russell Ruddock and Kevin Ford. Then we get into the Mazda MX-5s. Race win for Rob Hartley there in that class. Second for Travis Venke, Giuseppe Iannucci in third. David Payton finishing in fourth place with Richard Losper in fifth. Sixth, Scott Kennedy. Seventh, John Allen. Eighth, George Fike. Ninth, Edgar Sancinelli. And 10th for Chris Torman. 11th for Mike Taylor. Then comes the Mustang of Chad McDonald. 12th in the Mazda MX-5, Michael Key. And 13th, Aaron Grotzkoff. Then Tyler McFarlane, 14th. Then 35th overall in the whole field is the Mustang of David Jacques. Then 16th Dan Carrie Doe. And then 18 laps down in 37th place, Michael Burgett. Connection issues for him during the race. Matthew Catila started 6th. Unfortunately got hit right in the right front in La Source, and it looks like that really broke the car. And that was the end of his race. He finished in 38th, 22 laps down. Tory Tesla 39th, 29 laps down. And Logan Mitchell, the last car then was out early on, 29 laps down, and finished in 40th place. By then, we are joined in the comms box by, well, where should we start, Alex? I think we should start with our overall race winner, Clint Vigus. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Well, yeah, talk us through your race. Your times that final pit stop well, and you emerged from that in the lead.
Yeah, I think strategy was all right. I wasn't the quickest car tonight, but you don't always have to be the quickest to win. So strategy worked good. The setup was nice and consistent, and yeah, brought it home.
First two stints, were you just relatively playing it calm, building it up for that crucial second stop?
Not really. I was in the very beginning of the first stint. I was taking it easy behind when I was in fourth, but as soon as I got up to second, I pushed from then on. So that's all that I had.
And we saw in the closing stages, Pasquale was closing you down a little bit. Did you have a bit in reserve, or were you slightly struggling towards the end?
No, I was pushing. I knew that Pat had the pace on me as well as Russell, and Tyler did at certain parts of the race as well. So I didn't take anything for granted with those guys and just kept going.
Well, we head from this circuit at Spa to the Pocono road course next week. How's the car going to fare around there?
What's a Pocono?
Yeah, triple triangle.
Yeah, really no idea. I've never raced there in any of the configurations. I hear it's very tight, and the Mustang doesn't really like tight, but it should be interesting.
Well, if it helps, I've never seen a race around there or driven around the track, so I've probably got as much knowledge as you. Alex, anything for Clint Vigus?
No, just to sort of add really to what you said, congratulations again, and just goes to show how just, getting the fuel figures spot on for your pit stops can make all of the difference. Really you nailed those today, and give you that lead and a little advantage from the first stop, and you just extended it in the second one. So yeah, top job, and congrats to the pit crew.
Yeah, thanks much. I'd like to give a quick shout out. I think my dad's watching, so hey Dad. And then of course you guys put on a heck of a broadcast. I love to watch them on Tuesday night, watch the replays, and then TD, Frank Rico, and the whole Extreme team put on one heck of a league. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome,
Brilliant.
thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, fellas.
We'll move on to our ST Pro winner, the Mazda MX-5s, and that is Rob Hartley. You must be pretty exhausted because you've been in a constant battle for the lead pretty much the whole race.
Oh yeah, I knew going in it was going to be a battle to the end. It was going to be a long battle. Played it safe there in the beginning, but made sure I was there at the end. Pit stops worked out great. Finally had enough fuel to make it to the finish in one of these. Knew Travis was going to try to battle me there on the last lap. He waited till the last possible moment. We went side by side, and this third gear coming out of the chicanes there. Worked out great. Finally got me a win this season.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best start to the season. You were 8th in the championship going into this race meeting. This should give you the opportunity to push up the championship going through the next few races.
Yeah, I needed that. Needed a good finish tonight.
I know we were just talking to Clint about Pocono next week. Have you had a chance to drive the road course around Pocono at all?
I have not. I've been on the oval a few times, but I've never even seen the road course. So that should be interesting to say the least.
Before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks to y'all for putting on the stream this season, and thanks to our sponsors, Frank from Ricmotech and TD Tree Service, and all the admins in this league. They do one of the best jobs on iRacing.
Well done on the Mazda MX-5 class win here today, and I'll probably see you on track in the BSR Mazda MX-5 series on Sunday night.
Yep.
Thanks for talking to us.
Take it easy.
Okay, we'll move on. Alex, I believe you are with our runner-up in the Mazda MX-5 category. That's Travis Schwenke.
Good evening, Travis. Congratulations on second place. So close, but just so far as well.
Yeah, I just missed third gear coming out of there. I mean, I got handed after Rob. He had great pace. I was a little worried about fuel. I was a little close, so I was just making sure I stayed behind him. And of course, Rob doesn't have the history of being good on fuel, so I had to make sure that I was okay and said, okay, I'll just ride this out and figure him out. He was definitely just great out of Rivage and down toward Poulhan. He was getting the edge on me, so a couple times I tried to push hard there and could keep up. So I'm like, okay, I can keep up right there. So then it'll be a nice run down to the chicane.
We saw at the start of the race the ST class, the pack was very, very close. Really, it looked like you guys were going to be battling it out throughout. Now, of course, the pit stop broke you apart, but how important, is the slipstream and the draft around Spa? Huge straights. It just seemed like you guys just couldn't get away from each other.
Yeah, it seems it's the hill. It seems like the hill coming up out of Eau Rouge and down that straight. I mean, you can be a second and a half back and you can make it all up. So it's just huge down through there. Giuseppe and I tried to get a little breakaway. We were doing the leapfrog there at the beginning, but I think we only had like a second and a half gap. And as soon as we get 3 wide or do anything else, then it was just eaten up and it was gone again. So it was try to play it safe. I knew if I could stay in that top 4 and get a good pit stop, I'd be all right coming out.
Well, I mean, at the end, second place still, still a really good result. Doesn't harm the championship too much.
No, exactly. Of course, that was in the back of my mind. It's like, don't throw it away here on the last lap. I've been working this hard all race. I wanted to put the pressure on Rob and give it a go, but I wasn't going to do anything stupid and throw it away.
Awesome job. Of course, as we've asked everybody else as well, so Pocono up next. Very, very different circuit, of course. Very, very tight in the infield, and the straightaway sections massively wide, and we see the odd random sort of IndyCar race and things like that, where they can go 4 or 5 wide in that tricky triangle. But yeah, so it could be a bit of an adventure going into turn 1, which, if I remember correctly, it's a right-hander going into there as well. So it's going to be it really narrows down as well on the exit. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I've only seen the track map. I've never been out there, so I'll be putting in some practice this week and get to know the track and try to get. I don't tweak the setup much in this car, but it's little tiny things that work for me, so I'll have to kind of dial that in there and see how it works.
Awesome stuff. Anyone you want to have a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Just the whole crew here, Apex Racing and Extreme Motorsports. It's a great fun series, and glad to see as many people survive tonight as they did.
Thanks very much, Travis. Enjoy your result. Get some champagne. Go and have the debrief down in the channel.
Will do. Thanks a lot, guys.
Travis Schwenke there. We did have Tyler Shiflett available, but I think he's gone. So I will wrap it up. Alex, it looks like the drivers are just as unfamiliar with the Pocono circuit as we are.
Yeah, should make for an interesting race and broadcast, I would feel.
Yeah. I think I'll need to study a map or maybe even give it a drive before we go there next week. Right then, reminder that, in just over about 15 hours, we're going to be back on here in Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live for the next race meeting of the iRacing MSA. British Sim Racers Formula Renault Championship. Always nearly say Ford. Brought to you by the in association with the Apex Racing League. This race meeting we are at, as I quickly
Laguna
frantically
Seca.
check. Laguna Seca. We always seem to be at Laguna Seca, don't we? Yeah, we're out there tonight. Or tomorrow, in your case, if you're in America. Make sure you can join me, Alex, and Andrew Woodhouse will be there with us. Oh, should be with us tonight. Oh, well, later tonight, same day.
Oh, he's having a little night off
Yeah.
tonight, wasn't he? Having a little sleep, bless him.
Nice for some, eh? 5 to 4 UK time, I should say.
Yeah.
And then, Thursday, BSRTC, the Winter Series, 8 p.m. GMT for that one, and I should also say 8 p.m. GMT for the Formula Ford. And as always, big weekend of racing on Apex Racing TV, SRA Proto GT at 1 p.m. GMT. The Euro V8 Supercars is back as well. That's Saturday night about 6 o'clock GMT for that one. And then the BSR Kia Cup Series at 8 p.m. GMT. And then Sunday, you've got the Super Sunday, of course, Simpson Sportscar Series 1645. The BSR Master MX-5s at 8 p.m. GMT, Club 73 at 8:30, and next Monday is round 2 of the ASRC World Sports Car Series, which will be there for as well, along with the Porsche Cup, which which has had a successful opening race meeting there.
Busy.
Yeah, busy. Plenty of not many nights off. I can say that. Thanks to Alex, iRacing World Championship driver, for sticking with me, staying up once again. And congratulations to our winners, Clint Vigus in the GS Pro and to Rob Hartley in the ST Pro. The next race meeting is at Pocono next week. Make sure you can join us at 2 a.m. GMT, and that is 9 p.m. Eastern Time. From all of us here at Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live, good night to you all.
Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live coverage coming your way right now.